Welcome back, brave souls. In Part 1, we explored the Titans of Terror, Bane, Lolth, Sarek, and more. But the darkness in the Forgotten Realms doesn't end there. Not even close. This time, we're diving into the blood-stained halls of Faerûn's darkest deities, those who influence through whispers, fear, and shadow. Some seek dominion, others chaos, and a few simply want to watch the world rot. Moander, the Darkbringer. Moander isn't just the god of rot, he is rot, a divine blight. Less a god in the traditional sense, and more an unstoppable infestation. Moander represents the end of all structure, all beauty, all life. Worshipped in ancient Netheril, his influence lingers like mildew on a grave. Wherever decay festers unnaturally, Moander is likely near. He manifests in overgrown ruins, corrupted woodlands, and ancient temples swallowed by vines that bleed black ichor. The mere presence of his essence causes ecosystems to break down. Trees twist unnaturally, animals lose fur and flesh, and even stone begins to crumble into sludge. His most famous attempted return was through Olias, a magically created woman with a mysterious past and a fire scar tattoo binding her to an arcane conspiracy. Unbeknownst to her, she carried a fragment of Moander's divine essence, planted by agents of his cult. As Alias and her allies uncovered the mystery behind her origin, they realized Moander intended to incarnate through her body, transforming her into a flesh-bound avatar of decay. The confrontation reached its climax within the ruins of a corrupted temple, where the Darkbringer's influence warped stone and vine into a monstrous form. In a desperate act of will and identity, Alias rejected him, banishing his essence and severing the connection. Her defiance didn't just save herself, it became a symbol for resisting the creeping grasp of rot and despair. Tales of her defiance are still whispered in the fringes of the realms, especially among those who stand against corruption in its earliest, subtlest forms. His followers, the Rotting Eye, are drawn to entropy like moths to flame. They don't build temples, they infect existing ones. Druidic orders turned rogue, necromancers who admire decay as art, and corrupted sages all serve him, slowly turning the world into mulch. Their rituals include sacrificing pure life to rot, disfiguring nature in Moander's name, and crafting fungal idols from the corpses of beasts. Some scholars believe the Condlewood's blight and the fall of the temple city of Jomdoth were influenced by Moander's whispers. And when Moander's name is spoken in ancient tombs or fungal-infested ruins, the ground often shudders in reply. Loviatar, Maiden of Pain. Loviatar is a goddess whose presence is felt more than seen. The air grows tense, the skin prickles, and even the brave feel the urge to flinch. She is the Maiden of Pain, not chaos, not death, but pain with precision and purpose. She's not a deity of senseless cruelty. To her, agony is a transformative force. Her faithful say that pain strips away falsehood, pride, and fear, leaving only truth. Her rituals are not only acts of punishment, but paths to enlightenment. One such rite, known as the Trial of Thorns, involves walking barefoot across a floor of heated briars while reciting personal failings, each step a pledge to abandon weakness. Some even see pain as purification, a way to purge imperfection from the body and soul. Her clergy, the chosen whip, embrace suffering and demand the same from their followers. Temples double as dungeons, with floors slick from ritual bloodletting. One prominent sect in Thai trains inquisitors who chant prayers as they inflict punishment, turning interrogation into a sacrament. Even their robes are lined with hooked thread, designed to catch and tear the skin with every motion. The fabric is stiff, almost ceremonial in its discomfort, and each droplet of blood drawn is considered an offering to their goddess. 2 names rise above the rest: Inquisitor Morvain, who transformed an entire prison complex into a mobile temple, and Duchess Velshara of Tantris, a noble who publicly funds hospitals, but privately turns her estate into a pain cult sanctuary. Her estate, known as the House of Crimson Roses, is said to house dozens of devotees undergoing ritual flagellation at all hours. Loviatar does not demand followers. She breaks them, and the broken often rise in ecstasy, devoted and forever changed. Veyron the Masked Lord. Veyron is a god born of rebellion, the estranged son of Lolth, and the spark of an alternate vision for the Drow. While Lolth rules through terror and chaos, Veyron offers strategy, solidarity, and the promise of dominance through cleverness. He believes the Drow were never meant to skulk in caverns, but to rise above and reclaim their place among the surface races. His views were shaped during his exile from the core Drow pantheon and the bitter rivalry with his mother, Lolth. Witnessing her rule through fear and madness, he came to believe that strategic dominance, unity, and cunning would better serve their people. But this isn't altruism. He still believes in conquest. He just believes in doing it better. His followers, known as Shadowblades, train in the art of infiltration, espionage, and surgical subversion. They don't storm cities. They destabilize them from within, toppling structures of power, one blade, or secret at a time. On the surface, they appear as merchants, diplomats, or mercenaries, but each serves the Masked Lord's grand design. They run safe houses that double as sanctuaries and training grounds, intercept Lolth's assassins mid-mission, and spread Veyron's gospel to surface Drow through charm, ideology, or sheer cunning. One such place exists in the sewers beneath Yawn, a former smuggler's den now converted into a hidden training compound, complete with shadow wards, practice chambers, and relics of the surface wars. Many Shadowblades operate in cells, each only partially aware of the others, making them nearly impossible to root out. One famous example: the fall of the Temple of Lolth in Skullport. A single Shadowblade priest seduced, converted, and turned half the temple's inner circle in under a year. When the dust settled, Lolth's spider statues were replaced with twin daggers crossed in a crescent moon. Rumors say that Priest now leads a secret enclave beneath Neverwinter. If you hear a whisper in the Underdark that promises freedom, it might not be mercy. It might be Veyron's voice. Dendar, the Night Serpent. Dendar isn't just a god, she's the end of stories. Older than history, she was born from the first sentient creature to ever feel fear. Every nightmare, every scream in the dark, is a sliver of her feast. Her form is said to be so massive it could circle the world. A serpentine colossus with scales darker than void and eyes that glow with ancient dread. Her mouth is lined with jagged teeth the size of towers, and her coiled body pulses with the restless energy of nightmares. Coiled in the fugue plane, she waits to awaken fully, to devour the sun and drown the world in eternal darkness. Her yawns cause eclipses. Her stirrings cause plagues of nightmares. Prophets who gaze into her presence lose their minds, or worse, become vessels for her whispers. The tale of Shilku still haunts the jungles of Chult. The town fell to a sleep plague, where each night more people failed to wake. Children wept in their dreams until they aged prematurely and died. The priests who dared to intervene went mad from the visions, their minds shattered by landscapes no mortal should see. Mazes of bone, whispering voids, and a serpent's gaze coiled around the sun. Scouts from nearby villages reported the sky over Shilku remained dark, even at midday, and strange lullabies could be heard from deep within the jungle. No survivors, just silence, and a temple half buried in black sand, pulsing with unease and the lingering scent of fear-soaked incense. The Yuan Tai worship her with unshakable devotion. They sacrifice dreamers, poison water with hallucinogens, and craft artifacts from the bones of insomniacs. Every night, her cult enacts rituals to keep her slumbering and hungry, believing that when she wakes, only the faithful will be spared. Entire cults vanish into dream realms in her service, hoping to feed her and glimpse her arrival. And you probably already fed her. Last night, when you dreamed. Bhaal, Lord of Blood. Bhaal is not just a god of killing. He is the moment of the blade's kiss, the gasp before death, the flash of red behind the eyes. And let's be honest, this is the god everyone came to see. The crowd favorite of carnage, whose name alone drips with dread and fascination. Long before the time of troubles, Bhaal foresaw his own doom and began planting his legacy through mortals, the Bhaalspawn. These were individuals born through dark rituals, often without knowledge of their true heritage, each carrying a fragment of Bhaal's divine essence. Not just heirs in name, they were literal vessels of his power, created to ensure his rebirth through their actions and deaths. Some Bhaalspawn were fearsome warriors or cunning assassins, drawn to bloodshed by an instinct they couldn't explain. Others were scholars, nobles, or even healers, whose divine inheritance twisted their lives in unexpected ways. All were marked by violent urges and destiny bound to conflict, drawn to one another in a brutal cycle of confrontation. Their existence was a divine contingency plan, one that ensured Bhaal would return stronger, redder, and more feral than ever before. As the Bhaalspawn spread chaos across Faerûn, raising armies, toppling rulers, and clashing with one another, their divine essence began to coalesce, unknowingly funneling power back to Bhaal. The culmination came with the death of the final Bhaalspawn, whose demise was the final spark needed to ignite Bhaal's resurrection. In a series of apocalyptic events, crimson storms blotted out the sun, rivers turned dark with sacrifice, and prophets were struck mad mid-sermon. Temples erupted in spontaneous bloodshed as if compelled by divine command. When Bhaal returned, it was not with a whisper, but with a scream. Feral, brutal, and undeniable. The god of blood had reclaimed his throne, and the realms bled for it. His priests, the fingers of Bhaal, are not your typical clergy. They are ritual killers, sacred executioners, and keepers of relics made from bone and sinew. They don't just kill, they consecrate the act. Each kill is a sermon, each shrine a crime scene. Some operate as solitary fanatics, while others form silent covens in city slums, keeping ledgers of names fated for the blade. One infamous rite, known as the Red Benediction, takes place under the new moon, when initiates are bound, anointed in ash and blood, and required to slay a chosen target in total silence. Their rites are often public spectacles, cloaked in mystery, marked by sigils drawn in fresh blood, and carried out with sacred blades, said to hum with divine malice. If a blade finds your throat in a dark alley, and the last thing you hear is a prayer, you just met one. The gods we explored today don't always demand armies or thunder, just a whisper, a shadow, a single misstep. If you're still breathing, you've already survived more than most. If you loved this video, check out one of these videos to keep diving into the lore.